Hi, I'm Eric Siegel with ericstrains.com, and welcome to episode 36 of my video train blog series. Okay, it's July 13th, 2013, and it's one day before the first of 3 open houses that I'm having for the layout next week that are part of the NMRA's National Convention that's here in Atlanta this year. So for the past few weeks, I've been doing a lot of work on the layout to try to get the layout as ready as possible before visitors start showing up. Most of the work, and therefore most of the progress, has been in the Colorado room, but there's also been some minor work in other areas of the layout as well. So what I'm going to do now is take you around the layout and show you the progress that I've made over the last few weeks. Okay, here's the Colorado room, and as I said, most of the work I've done recently has been in this room. Probably 95% of the recent work on the layout has been in this room. Now, I've done some small stuff here, like I've completed the rock wall right there, and I've added a few trees here and there. These trees are different from the other trees on the layout, because this room depicts Colorado, so I wanted the trees in this room to look nothing like the rest of the layout. These trees are from a company called Grand Central Gems, and I think they look pretty good. I've put 3 or 4 of them up so far, and I hope to have many more up in the near future. And then I've also done some more scenery work back here with some grass and ground cover. Now, of course, the big work in the Colorado room has been the narrow gauge line up here. This is an ON30 narrow gauge line. It's still O-scale, it's just narrow gauge. And I'm happy to say that the narrow gauge line is now functional. It's not complete, there's still some work to do on it, but it's at least functional. I can take the train on this loop here, and I can also take it down this siding to the passenger station. So it's looking pretty good. I've even ballasted a little bit of the track, so you can see what it's going to look like when it's complete. So everything's looking pretty good. Now, there are some things that I still need to do with the track. Obviously, I still need to ballast the rest of it. I think I'm going to put a switch over here that's going to go off into the wall to show a track sort of going off into the distance. It's not going to go anywhere. It's just going to dead end, but it'll give the illusion of the track actually going somewhere outside of this room. And then on this line here, I've got to hook this up. This is a reversing loop, and as many of you know, hooking up a reversing loop with 2-rail track is a little trickier than with 3-rail track, so I've still got to hook that up. I should have that done pretty soon. And that's about it. Once all that's done, we should be in pretty good shape. Obviously, there's some scenery to do up here. I'm going to put some of the track in tunnels and so forth. And once it's all done, it should look pretty sharp. Now let's talk about the bridges. There's 2 bridges here. There's one there and one right here. This one I showed you a couple weeks ago. It is now functionally complete. It's a working bridge. I still want to do a little cosmetic work up top on the deck, but as far as being functional, it's complete. All of the support members are in there, and I think it looks pretty good, especially when you consider that this is my first wooden trestle. This is scratch built. It's made from little pieces of basswood that I bought at the hobby shop, and I think it looks pretty good. It gets the job done. It's a little weird because it has to be curved and let these tracks go underneath, but it works, it's functional, and I like it. Now let's talk about this bridge. What you're looking at is a temporary bridge that I put in place just to get the track across so that I could run the trains for the open house. Obviously, something like this wouldn't work in the real world, so eventually this will be replaced by a permanent bridge that has more of a support structure underneath it. Now, originally, my plan was to do a trestle here, not unlike this trestle over here, but then I realized that it would block the view of the big trains behind it, and I decided I didn't want to do that, so the next thing I wanted to do was build a truss bridge up on top. A truss bridge looks like this bridge here. That's a truss bridge. So imagine something like that right here. But then I realized I might have some clearance issues because the track here is curved slightly, so I thought it might look a little awkward. So what I'm thinking now is that I may do an upside down truss bridge. It will look like that. It'll be a truss bridge, except upside down, like that. So just imagine a bridge that's upside down like that, with track on top, and you've got an upside down truss bridge. Now, if you want to look at a prototype, go on Google and do a search for upside down truss bridge, and you'll see a bridge in New York that's an upside down truss bridge, and that's what I'm going to loosely base this on, although this will be made out of wood and nowhere near as big as the one in New York. But that's sort of what I'm going on to make this one. So it should look pretty cool when it's all done, and it'll definitely be unique, and it'll still allow a view of the big trains behind it. Now let's talk about the narrow gauge train itself. I've had the freight cars that you see there for several years, and I've weathered a couple of them, But the engine itself is brand new. Up until now, the only motive power I had was that little Bachmann Davenport switcher, and it's okay, but it doesn't have sound, and it's too small to be carrying the big train, so I finally got a steam engine. This is also made by Bachmann. All of my ON30 trains are made by Bachmann. This is a Baldwin 460 steam engine. It's got DCC plus sound, and it's undecorated, so that means I can put whatever road name I want on it. I bought this for about $190 from Micromark, and it's been fantastic. I've got nothing but good things to say about it. It runs great, it sounds great, it's an excellent engine. Now, the eventual plan is to have this be a passenger train because I've got the passenger station over there. But right now, I don't have any passenger cars, so that's why I'm pulling the freight cars. This is going to be one of those excursion tourist trains like they run in Colorado nowadays. So once I get some passenger cars, I'll decorate this for either Denver and Rio Grande or Durango and Silverton or something like that. I haven't made up my mind yet. It's not written in stone, but the eventual plan is to have this be a passenger train. Now, because these trains run via DCC, I had to get a DCC system, which was something I did not have, and I also had to learn to use DCC. So what I did is I bought a starter DCC set, and there it is right there. That's the Digitrack Zephyr set. It's a starter DCC set, and it was very easy to figure out. It took me about 30 minutes to figure it out and get the train programmed in, and it's been great. I haven't had any problems with it. Now, eventually, I may upgrade to a handheld remote of some sort, but for now, this will do because this is the only narrow gauge train I have, so it's not a big part of my layout. So this little starter system is just fine for me right now. So there you have it. The narrow gauge line is operational. I'm really happy with it. Still some work to do, but it's making really good progress. Now, what I'm going to do now is show you some of the progress in other areas of the layout. And then at the end of the video, we'll come back here and I'll start the train up and run it around for a minute. Like I said, most of the progress has been in the Colorado room, but I have done a few things in other parts of the layout. Here in the hallway room, I've hooked up one more track signal, so if I roll a car onto this block, you can see it goes red. And because it's wired together with the other signals on the layout, when that one goes red, the signal for the block before it, which is right here, goes yellow. So that's pretty cool. These signals are made by Atlas. And in case you haven't seen it, I did a two-part tutorial showing how to install and operate these signals. You can find that two-part tutorial on my YouTube channel. Here in the main room, I really haven't made that much progress lately, again, because I've been doing so much work in the Colorado room. A couple weeks ago, I showed you this brand new stainless steel trestle section that came in from Stainless Unlimited, and since then, I haven't done much to it. I've shimmed it up so that it's level and so that it's at the right height for the second level of track. But other than that, it's still pretty raw. Now, once the open houses are over, I'll take this outside and paint it and weather it, and then I'll start working on the deck up top as well as the abutment that'll bring the bridge over to the mountain. So I'll show you the progress on this trestle as it happens. Now, the second section of this trestle, which is going to go from here over to right about here, I'm going to have the guy at Stainless Unlimited start working on it in August. So hopefully it'll be done by September or early October, definitely in time for the Piedmont Pilgrimage open house that'll probably be in November. And then after that, the last thing to do will be to get the third section that'll go from here over to here where it will connect up with this track. The only other noticeable progress in the main room has been right here on the upper level. I've ballasted a little more track right there, and I've also done a little more scenery work right here, but that's about it. Something else I've done in the last week is to add some more display shelving to the layout rooms. These display shelves are made by Glenn Snyder Display Systems. If you want to find out more about them, just do a Google search for Glenn Snyder Display Systems and you'll find their website. Now here in the hallway room, I've added a fifth shelf down here that's holding the two Lionel Santa Fe Northerns. And I've also extended the top shelf over the door, and it's now holding the Lionel Norfolk and Western Y3. Over this way, above this door, I've added a new shelf, and that's holding the MTH-GE hybrid set. And then in the main room here, I've added a fifth shelf here that's holding the Lionel BNSF Speeder and the MTH Amtrak Turbo Train. And then finally, up in the stairwell, I've added two new shelves up here, and those shelves are holding some diesels. Okay, we're back in the Colorado room, so I'm going to power up the narrow gauge train and run it around for a minute. I'll power it up using my new Digitrax Zephyr system. So press the power button, and there it goes, and you can hear the sounds kick in. There's the whistle. It's got a nice bell too. It's got some cool accent sounds too, like this one. Pretty neat. Now, I should point out that if you compare these sounds to the sounds on modern O-scale engines, they're going to be a little weak, and that's just because there's not that much room for a big sound system in something this small. But for its size, it sounds pretty good. I may, in the future, try to improve the sounds by building a speaker box in the tender, or maybe getting a better sound decoder, I don't know. But for right now, it sounds fine. I'm happy with it. So let's go ahead and move it out. Okay, that about wraps it up for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I will be doing some product review videos in the near future. I haven't had much time to do any product review videos over the last few weeks because obviously I've been working so much on the layout I haven't had time for much of anything else. But once these open houses are out of the way, I'll get back to work doing some product review videos, so look for those in the coming weeks. Anyway, that's it for now. I'm Eric Siegel, and I'll see you next time.